filmmaker Lia Beltrami from Italy. How are you, Lia?
I'm very good, thank you. Even in hard times, we keep working hard and trying to spread hope. So we are good.
Yes, I know about your work already. You won the Golden Lion in Venice 3 years ago,
It,
2017. And
it was the Golden Lion for Peace of the Golden Lion Foundation. They give every 2 years.
yes,
And it was for the effort with the group I started 10 years ago, which is called the Women of Faith for Peace. So to promote the dialogue, especially in Middle East, but then also in all over the world, using cinema as a mean for making the change.
yes. And recently, you last year you told me that you have two films. You realized two films. One it's called A Coffee, correct?
Yes, correct.
And the other is Tears and Dreams, correct?
Yes, correct. And there is a third one that I finished in February,
Uh-huh.
which is called Wells of Hope, that I made in Jordan and Syria.
Excellent.
So Tears and Dreams is based in north of Thailand in the Golden Triangle, where there is a trade of small children, girls. Some people buy the girls and they put in villages called the zoo,
Mhm.
where they put big colors, so they cannot live without it.
Mm.
And there are some women and a Buddhist monk that together they try to have these girls coming out of the zoo and study and have a life. So that was a strong story, and we realized the feature documentary. And then a coffee we made last year. It's 30 minutes, and it's all settled in Africa, in Kenya, where there is Francis, that he has a center with 600 children, taken from most of them. They have parents who died for AIDS or other kind of problems. And he's helping these boys and girls to become the best students of Kenya. So getting the best marks in order to go to the best universities.
Yes.
And Wells of Hope is based in Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon, and it's a group of women of different religions together that they fight against human trafficking. And I found this story so beautiful, so we made a 30 minutes documentary about it.
Yes. I want to ask you about first the two films you finished last year. Did you manage, I mean, to find distribution, to find festivals for them, for these two films before the problem of COVID started?
So with Tears and Dreams, we found the distribution in Italy. So it will be on TV in autumn, and it will be distributed from September in home video.
Uh-huh.
And still, we don't have the international distribution for this.
Yes,
And Tears and Dreams, it went for the moment into 20 film festivals.
excellent.
So we are very glad about it. And yes, it will be also in September in Monte Carlo in Monaco Film Festival.
Uh-huh.
And I hope it can go also in Kazan Film Festival.
In Russia, yes.
Yeah, we hope.
Myself, I was jury in Kazan 3 years ago. Yeah,
Oh, really? Did you?
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
2 years.
that's
Yes.
so good. And so Tears and Dreams won at the Indie Doc Festival Best Director Award. And in the Festival Mundial de Cine de Veracruz in Mexico, it was the award for Best Documentary.
Mm.
And then in India, in film festival I love because it's called Picasso Einstein Buddha International Film Festival. It won the best cinematographer. And then in United States, True Story Film Festival, it won the best documentary.
Excellent. Excellent. Right now, I remember in Italy, since you talk about distribution and home video, there were a lot of films distributed with magazines in Italy. I remember very well, you know, and I think it was a very good idea. I don't know about the situation right now because also I read in the news that these big kiosks, they were very beautiful big kiosks like that in Rome, in Milano, you know, selling books and films and revistas, magazines. I don't know, I read somewhere that there are not a lot of them right now because the sales, of course, of printed materials was declining. What is happening?
Yeah, it's in these months, so many small shops, even the magazines and DVD shops, they are closing because they still say it's dangerous to touch materials. So everything is going more on internet.
Mhm.
Like a coffee for Italy, it's been distributing on a platform, a new VOD platform called Vativision, who started 2 weeks ago in Italy.
Mhm.
And yes, it's getting to more on the streaming and more on platforms. Still, I hope we can go back to cinemas because when I went around in cinemas with the feature documentary, Tears and Dreams, to go in a cinema full of people that they came, they paid the ticket, so they really appreciate what they want to see, and then there is the debate, is something so strong. But
Of course.
yeah, okay, this time we
Yes.
will have to wait for it.
Yes. Um, uh, uh, well, we were talking about also the situation of COVID in Italy. Tell me what happened in your place. You are near Milano, you mentioned to me.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I live near Milano, and our company is based part in Rome and part in north of Italy, where I am actually. And on February 22nd, I came back from Rome and I heard the first news. So I said, that's going to be very tough. So let's put all the family in self-quarantine.
Mhm.
And then after 2 weeks, we had a weekend because it's a beautiful mountain area where I live. Everyone came from Milano to ski in our region, and they didn't close the region. They let all the skiing all open, so it came the hell. After 2 weeks, there were so many people so badly affected. I had my personal doctor. She was really seriously sick, and the priest of our parish, he was almost dead, but he just recovered after some weeks.
Mhm.
So, and in the elderly house next to our home, half of the elders died in March, April, and May. So it's very, very sad. So we just locked completely at home. We had the food coming once a week, just with the delivery.
Yes.
And at that point, we said, okay, we can stay here waiting, or we can start to work more. So I decided to put myself more on creating social media content.
Mhm.
So I made a lot of short films
Mhm.
for the media, and so there was a strong reaction about it. And also because I was in a perfect point with a big project. I tell you, I started 2 years ago in Dubai.
Yes.
where I met Nina Davuluri. She was Miss America in 2014, the first Asian Miss America.
Mhm.
And she had a lot of problems for her skin color.
Yeah.
So when I met her in Dubai in a big conference, I told her, would you like to make a documentary and a campaign with me, very big? And she said, yes. So we started and we filmed in January the first part of the documentary in India and Bangladesh, just about the skin lighting industry and the perception of skin color and people bullied by skin color.
Mhm.
And in March, before the lockdown, we were in the point of we had to go to New York to film the second part of the film.
Mhm.
And we had to stop it. So we said, what can we do? And we made very quickly a lot of short films from the Indian part. And she started a campaign in United States against the skin lighting industry. And I must tell you that also here the cinema made a change, because last week we had the news that the main production companies are taking away names or stopping production of skin lightening. For example, Fair and Lovely, our documentary is all presenting the disasters,
Mhm.
psychological disasters of Fair and Lovely to dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
And so Unilever decided to stop the name Fair and Lovely after 20 years of destroying people with that name. And then we had Johnson and Johnson decided to stop production of skin lightening.
Mhm.
And then not Garnier, L'Oreal as well. And this happened in response of our campaign. So I should say we were in lockdown, very hardly touched by the virus, but we gave an answer and we could make a change. So I'm very happy.
Yes. About the films you realized on social media, did you put it on Facebook or YouTube channel for us to share the link in down the
I,
your.
yeah, so, the first episodes are on YouTube, and also in the next weeks I will put all on YouTube. Now I can send you the link of
Yeah,
two
yeah.
or three.
We can share the YouTube channel for people to discover them. So right now, you touch in your documentary very, I mean, critical human condition. You know, I mean, human trafficking, especially with women, and it's a big problem. With a lot of people suffer from it, not only in the Middle East, but also everywhere. I think a lot of countries. Hmm?
Yeah, we have launched a campaign that is going on in month of July.
Mhm.
Started yesterday, and it's for United Nations to prepare the United Nations Day against human trafficking.
Mhm.
And we have women testimonies from different religions in the world. So there is a Buddhist nun
Mhm.
from Thailand. There is a Sufi, the president of the Sufi women of Germany, and then some Christian nuns, and then some Jews. We have these women that they testimony why they support the people working against human trafficking. And this problem is very strong in Western, so-called Western societies, and it's very silent.
Yes.
And so we have a very strong testimony by Anita Stokeyford. She's the former ambassador of Ghana in Italy. And now she's back in Ghana, and she is working so much to warn the young boys of Ghana to
Mhm.
say, be careful, because when you are living illegally, you are becoming slave.
Yes.
And it's the new forms of slavery. And so it's very important, I mean, to work even in Western countries to do everything we can to stop the human trafficking. Otherwise, we take away the best people from other nations to become, because you can have sexual human trafficking or workers human trafficking.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and it goes down to children sometimes as well. There are a lot of things about the news.
It's
Yes,
so hard. Also, for example, we have a problem in refugee camps
of course.
where they come and buy young girls or boys,
Mm.
promising wedding, and then they kill for the organs trafficking. So that's another strong point. So what we can do with documentaries, just to present stories and to say and to create an awareness so that governments can do something, everyone can do something.
Yes, and also you did films, about AIDS. Although AIDS it's not in the news, but it still exists in many countries, especially Africa. You did in Kenya. I know in Sierra Leone there are a lot of AIDS, and also in Malawi in Africa.
When I was in the village for filming, and Francis, our protagonist, were telling, uh, we were there with men and women. We were talking to them, and he said, "Okay, in 2 months, this person will be dead." And I said, "How do you say that?" "Yes, because it's so much sick with AIDS." And that village, it had 10 years ago, 4,000 people. They were workers for tobacco. Then they removed the tobacco. They started to drug or prostitution. They got AIDS.
Mhm.
And from 4,000 adults, there are 300 right now. All of them are dead.
Yes.
And the children, now they are trying to have the women give birth in hospitals, so the children, they are not affected by AIDS. And all the children needs to be taken to a center because the parents are dying for this. It's really, really a bad problem. A serious, huge, huge, serious problem.
Yes, and sometimes newborn babies are born with AIDS as well. Sometimes they can
Yes, and
from.
no one wants them. And so we have to find places where they can live their life and they grow up and they can face with it.
Mhm,
Also in Zimbabwe, that's so big. It was horrible. Now, after a lot of campaigning, it's getting a little bit better,
mhm.
but we cannot stop. We have to raise awareness so much with it.
Yes. Tell me right now, do you have plans to do films about this Corona problem?
At the moment, not yet, because there are so many points that we don't know, and it would be. I think in the next months we will have changes and maybe surprise about this story.
Yes.
So I'm still waiting for that. But maybe one day, I made some very short film, short contents of 2 minutes.
Yes.
For example, when my daughter, she was studying in Oxford, and during the lockdown, we tried to have her coming back to Italy. It was very hard, and when she came, she had to stay in an apartment for 2 weeks without touching us and being in front of us. So when she arrived, we were waiting for her so much and I couldn't hug her. It was so hard. So I made just a short 2 minutes about her arrival and her being locked behind a window for 2 weeks. So
Yes,
that I can send you the link for this.
of course. Yes. Yes, and right now, did you approach any film festivals? Because a lot of film festivals right now considering either to cancel their edition or to do it online. Did you had communication with film festivals to?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I just had a yesterday screening, and even today until 5 o'clock this afternoon
Mhm.
on Women Film Festival, WOW. It was settled in Tunisia, but they are not going to make it in Tunisia, so they moved to Jordan, and they are having the online festival. So we have the film on human trafficking, Wells of Hope, in competition.
Excellent.
And so it's there, and then also in a film festival in Brazil. Also, they did the online, and it's the award ceremony today. And it's, for example, the short one about COVID, I sent to a film festival in India, in Kolkata. And it was so nice because we had there was on Facebook the award ceremony, and also on Zoom, so we could dialogue, and I got an award for that, so it was nice. And then in September, there are several festivals who are presenting the films in cinemas or outside. So still, they don't know for sure. So probably I hope Tears and Dreams will be in Kazan, and so we will see if we can go there. And for sure, it will be Monte Carlo in September, and I hope we can go there as well. Let's see what's happening.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, dear Lia, filmmaker Lia Beltrami. And I hope soon also your films can be presented in Egypt soon.
I really hope to. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for keeping the cinema world uplifting.
Yes, yes, trying to be active, you know, in this online thing. So let's keep in touch, and we will try. I will try to share your interview, your information, and we can share the different links. So all we can do is right now networking, you know, and exchange ideas and support each other.